Hey everyone, okay, so today, nice and quick as usual with me, we are going to be talking about ways to not set your concealer. So how to set your concealer without using a powder, because it's very, very common. A lot of women and men, no discrimination, don't like to use powder underneath their eyes, and that's absolutely fine. So let's talk about the ways you can go about doing that. Rule number one, don't set your concealer. Now this I learned from Ray Morris, who's an amazing makeup artist, and with cream or wax concealers, you can apply them, then just go out. In about an hour, if you're lucky, your concealer is going to start to crease. With a wax or a cream, you can just smooth it back into place. If you don't mind retouching up consistently throughout the day, then using that technique will work for you great, and it does give the illusion of a more beautiful under eye area because there is no powder and you're just smoothing back in, particularly with a wax-based concealer. Now, all concealers and everything else I mentioned are in the description bar below. The second one is to use a concealer that doesn't require setting. So the new Bobbi Brown concealer, which is the Instant Full Coverage Concealer, this does not require setting with powder, and it truly lives up to that claim. Underneath the eyes or around the mouth, I've already done a video on it, but it's an incredible one that doesn't require setting. Hurrah! The next one is to use a concealer that is not prone to creasing. So the Bobbi Brown one, the one that I tend to favor is the NARS Radiant Cream Concealer. That's a very, very good concealer that is not prone to creasing. It still can, but it's the least problematic of concealers. So that's a great one to try. The other one you can do is to take a little sponge, take a setting spray, so Skindinavia, something like that, whichever your favorite is, and then just give it a little spritz, knock it all off, wait for it to absorb into the sponge, and then go underneath the eye and tap around the area of the concealer. That will set the concealer without using a powder, which is wonderful. The other thing you can do is use your standard face primer, apply this all over the face, but pay particular attention to underneath the eyes, apply your concealer, then apply the spritz technique and go over it. And finally, and this one's really, really good, use an eye primer. So Urban Decay one works really well, as does the Natasha Denona one, but the Natasha Denona one is a colored one, so you need to bear that in mind, but you're gonna put concealer over it anyway, so it's gonna cover it. By using a eyeshadow primer, apply it underneath the eye area where the concealer is going to go. Apply the concealer on top, and it will hold the concealer in place for an incredible amount of time. This in really, really hot weather or weather where I know there's going to be issues, what I tend to do is I use a setting spray all over the face first, then I apply foundation, then I set again, then I do the rest, then I set again, then I apply a eyeshadow primer underneath the eyes, apply concealer over it, then I set again. And that's how to really get around it. But there you go. So the tips are not to apply anything and then just smooth it out as the day goes on. Use a concealer that doesn't crease or doesn't need to be set, which is the Bobbi Brown one. Use a primer for the face and apply extra underneath the eyes. Or use a setting spray, spritz onto a sponge and pat it into place. And for the final one, use an eyeshadow primer underneath the eyes, then apply concealer over it. And if you really want to be amazing, apply a tiny bit of the setting spray on a sponge underneath that area. And that is my tips for not setting your concealer with powder. If you have any more that I don't know about, leave them in the description bar below, or the comment section below. That would be amazing. And again, that's it. Nice and short, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Oh, and let me know in the comment section what videos you'd like me to make. There you go. Bye-bye.